Before we get started, hey there, I'm Jason Linett, and maybe you've heard me say this before. The more we're all successful, the more we're all successful. And the one thing that will grow our hypnosis profession better than anything else is to have more of you out there helping your own clients and thriving in your own hypnosis businesses. That's why I'm inviting you to join our private community, exclusively for listeners of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast. We have several thousand members in the group, and this is where recent guests of the program share additional resources related to their episode. It's a positive community with hypnotic professionals from all around the world, so it's a great place to get your questions answered. And as a benefit, as soon as you join, I'm going to share with you the best of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast archives. And listen to this, it's absolutely free to join. Go to this website, group.worksmarthypnosis.com. Go there right now, answer a few quick questions, and I'll personally be there to welcome you into this helpful community. Be sure to join today. That website is group.worksmarthypnosis.com. Any resources that I share with you are not about reminding you of the problem that you used to have. Instead, the resources and strategies I might share with you, they're now about helping you to build stronger and helping you to build better changes in your life, building up resilience. It's really about helping you to build the new story of where you're going. Hypnosis helps people take back control of their lives. But here's the thing, too many hypnotists struggle to get consistent results with their clients or grow their hypnosis businesses. I'm Jason Linett, and after more than 2 decades of building a thriving hypnosis practice, I created this podcast to help you do the same. Whether you're just starting your hypnosis journey, or if you're ready to scale your business to the next level, you're exactly where you need to be. Welcome to Work Smart Hypnosis. One of the popular definitions of hypnosis is that it's a process that's marked by a heightened state of suggestibility. And that sounds really good. That sounds really impressive. And it's a thing that some of us have heard our instructors say, and we repeat it because it sounds good. Though, let me take a quick moment and break down this idea of suggestibility for you. It means your ability to take in new information and then absorb it and let it become your new normal, your new thoughts, your new feelings, your new actions. So simply put, if you weren't suggestible, you wouldn't be able to learn new things. If you weren't suggestible, then life would just kind of be this static state of things that are not moving and not changing. So for anybody to make any change in their life, some level of suggestibility needs to be there. And as hypnotists, we help people to do that on purpose. Now, the topic of this week's podcast episode, though, is one that's not necessarily about suggestibility. However, as part of this Make It Rain Monday edition of the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast, I wanted to start off by talking about suggestibility so that hopefully a lot of you are now about to go into a more suggestible state of mind. Because some of what I'm about to share with you, it's going to challenge things that you've been led to believe. It might even challenge the work that some of you are currently doing. And let me point this out ahead of time. I'm not just pointing fingers and I'm not just creating a place of challenge for the sake of being provocative or to get clicks and grab attention. No, because I'm going to point out where I think about something differently than the way that most of you do in this industry. And rather than just tear it down and go, so don't do that. No, instead, I'm going to give you something else to do instead and explain along the way exactly why I do this. Though let me lay a bigger foundation here before we officially dive in. And specifically, the topic at hand this week is around recording audios for your clients. Before I even get into that, I need you to hear the next couple of points. Listen carefully to the intent. If you are recording your sessions, and if you're giving the audio to every one of your clients and you're getting results with that, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with that. Good on you. Keep it up. If you are waiting until your client closes their eyes, here's some more examples. If you're waiting for your client to close their eyes and then you are carefully, quietly pulling out a book of scripts and then just reading a script verbatim, word for word to your client and they're getting results, I'm okay with that. More power to you. If you're one of those people who firmly believes that regression or parts therapy or some other method, whatever it might be, if you're one of the people who is an absolutist, that this is the only thing that gets results, so long as you're actually getting results in a way that is verifiable and not just because you're telling yourself the story you are, if you're actually getting those results, I'm okay with that. Keep it up. More power to you. Basically, here's what I'm getting at. All of the absolutes that people love to argue about, sometimes for the sake of just having something to argue about, seriously, I'm okay with them. Some of you are now waiting for me to drop the big but. Here it is. It's not really a but. It's really more of a however. Here it is. However, the one thing, as you already heard, the one thing I genuinely care about is that you're actually getting results. So if you're doing some of those things that I just pointed towards and you're thinking right now, yeah, but my results could be better, that's why I'm doing this episode. It's to help you get into that suggestible state to maybe consider, okay, the formula that I'm currently using, there might be a better way to do it. That's what I'm about to share with you. I think there's, just simply put, I think there's a lot of better things we as a community of hypnotists, as practitioners, that we could be focusing on rather than these little nonsense fights that are very often just for the purpose of ego and just creating conflict. Here's a few more while we're at it. Hey, let's have some fun here. The people who get really upset when people say critical factor rather than critical faculty, or they say critical faculty rather than critical factor, or whatever the argument is, just seriously, people, frickin' relax. Plus, nerd out to the level that I have. Go listen to some of the older audio recordings of Dave Ellman. Go listen to some of his contemporaries around the same time frame. And there's audios recorded of people saying factor as well as faculty. Don't let that become some sort of nonsensical reason that you're repeating from an instructor that you learned from to go, that means they're not qualified. Hey, look, the godfathers of this industry, the fairy godmothers as well, the terms are often interchangeable. It's almost like the difference between disassociate versus dissociate. There's a very small, subtle difference between the two words, and in most cultures, the words are interchangeable. It's not enough. It's not important enough for these big online stupid arguments. Full respect to everybody. Love and light, positivity. So let's focus on what really needs to happen to help our clients. And that's part of what the story of Work Smart Hypnosis really comes around to. You know, if your client doesn't get offended and doesn't get annoyed when you say under hypnosis rather than experiencing hypnosis, and they're getting the results, can we all just agree to relax and focus on stuff that actually matters here? There is, forgive the term, there's a lot of masturbatory, well-meaning arguments that, in my opinion, are well-meaning, but they're mostly a waste of your time. And I want you to understand that's coming from me, the guy who actually does hold the trademark on the term hypnotic language hacks. And I've actually created a whole separate business called Attract Pre-Sold Clients, where like 90% of what I do over there is getting really, really specific about words, the right words in the right order at the right time. So language is important. However, pick your battles, people. And I wanted to make it a point because, again, this week's episode is all about whether or not you record your sessions and what you do with them and what you might do instead. We're going there. I wanted to start this week with this rant from a place of love. It's very intentional that I started this specific way because, again, the deeper philosophy here at Work Smart Hypnosis, it's about challenging the standards. It's about questioning the things that very often we've accepted as the norms. And really, it's about helping you to find better ways to help your clients. It's about that feedback mechanism where now the way you did it one time is going to probably be different from the way you do it 5 years from now. I'm going to quote Sean Michael Andrews on this. We all wish we could call back our first client and say, no, really, I got better. Please come back. And it's where I'm sharing with you some of the discoveries that I've made over time by seeing thousands of clients of my own and just kind of testing some of these theories and things that I've duplicated from my business to others as well. And this week, the topic at hand is whether or not you record the audio of your sessions. Like we typically do, the show notes, the references I'm making throughout this episode, you can find them very easily. This is session number 458, 458. So if you go to worksmarthypnosis.com/458, when you go there, that magically redirects over to the Work Smart Hypnosis website, specifically to the show notes page for this episode. And one of the other reasons, though, I want all of you, as soon as you're done listening to this episode, this will take you like less than 4 minutes after you've listened to the rest of this podcast, go to worksmarthypnosis.com/458, because specifically there are 2 strategies that I'm about to share with you. And the second one, I'll put it this way, it involves a thing I've been thinking about doing or offering or turning into not quite a training, but a bit more of a done-with-you service to basically give some people license rights to recreate something of mine. And I'm going to be completely transparent as I say this. This is not the routine that you've seen other people do of going, hey, we're thinking about this. What are your thoughts? And meanwhile, they've already got a sales page built and they're playing the game of asking questions to build curiosity. No, I am genuinely like 20% of the way there of just thinking about this, and I want to get your feedback. So worksmarthypnosis.com/458, go there. And then after you've listened to the episode, you're going to see there's a survey on that page where I've got 4 simple questions. I'd love for you to respond and answer the 4 specific questions. This is all very cryptic right now. It'll make sense by the time we get to the episode. It's basically a, would you want this? But first, listen to the episode, then go to worksmarthypnosis.com/458, then answer the 4 questions. So hey, let's dive in. This is session number 458, Why I Don't Record My Session. Has your hypnosis client ever said this to you? I felt relaxed, but I don't know if I was hypnotized. If you've heard that before, it means that one of the most critical elements was missing from your hypnosis session. You might have done every hypnosis technique and every hypnotherapy method correctly, but you've accidentally sabotaged your chances of your client getting their desired result. Here's the good news. It's an easy problem to fix. Check out this website, power.worksmarthypnosis.com. This is where you can get instant access to my Hypnotic Phenomenon Power Pack featuring the Hypnotize with Conviction program. It's a foolproof system to reliably create magical moments of hypnotic phenomenon with all of your clients, whether you see them in person or even online. What this does for you is help to build greater conviction that the desired change is already in motion. And even better, it means that your client will be able to actually feel the change taking place. How cool is that? It's these types of magical moments that helped my clients to become the people who sent me referrals and left me 5-star reviews. And I'm inviting you to grab this low-cost method that you can learn today and put to use with your next client. So go to power.worksmarthypnosis.com. The real-time session is about releasing a problem. Anything I share with you during the process that's a resource, these are not about reminding you of the problem that you used to have. Instead, any resource I'm going to share with you, these are about helping you to build the new story to leave the old one behind you in the past. That's what I actually say to my clients. And I'm going to say it one more time, and I promise you almost every time I say it, it's going to be slightly different, and I'll break down every piece of this. The real-time session is about releasing a problem. Any resources that I share with you are not about reminding you of the problem that you used to have. Instead, the resources and strategies I might share with you, they're now about helping you to build stronger and helping you to build better changes in your life, building up resilience. It's really about helping you to build the new story of where you're going. There's my answer. There's my strategy of this. However, there are 2 things I'm about to share with you. Though first, let me do a little bit of a bonus here. If someone was to ask you, can I have an audio of my session? There is a very important thing you need to ask before you ever answer the question. And it comes around to just better expectations and making sure you're not running when you're not being chased. So let me role play a couple of these here for you here. Can I have an audio of my session? And now you ask them, any reason you ask? And person 1 says to you, well, I saw a hypnotist years ago to overcome a fear of driving on highways. except that they recorded an audio which was really cumbersome. They told me to listen to this 45-minute thing every single day for like a month. And I mean, I don't have the fear anymore, but just there were so many times that I just couldn't make the time to listen to that session. Well, do you see how your answer now can take a different context because now you have data? Person number 2 example. Can I have an audio of my session? Person number 2 says, oh, I've done hypnosis before, and it was so helpful that they recorded me an audio and I listened to it. And I got to tell you, that was 27 years ago, and I haven't even bothered with a cigarette ever since. Okay, so as much as I'm going to get up on a soapbox and share some strongly held opinions, if a person says that, they have just given you an incredible hypnotic contract. They have told you what is going to work for them. And respectfully, I think you'd be a bit of a fool to not record something and give it to them. Person number 3, the last example. Could I have an audio of my session? Again, the magic question, any reason you ask. That way I have evidence and proof if you try to do something inappropriate during the session. Well, do you see, my friends, how that concern is no longer about the audio? That tells us there was maybe something missing from the explanation of hypnosis, from your pre-talk, maybe there's issues around rapport, and whether or not you record the audio is a completely different topic here. So just take that, by the way, and use that as many places you can. Hey, what's a good workshop you can go to? Hey, what's a good thing I can learn to help clients for this issue? You're going to hear me go, any reason you ask. Why? Because rather than my automatic response with my strongly held opinions, I'm going to get from you what's important. But let's bring this back to the topic at hand. Recording the audio of the session. Again, here's my genuine opinion though. All models of change are viable. And there's 2 models that can be simply broken down inside of all the work that we do. And this is true also of just personal change. Even if someone creates a big shift in their life and hypnosis wasn't part of the story. We create change through either one of 2 formulas or some combination of the 2. We create change either through repetition, just keep doing it till it sticks, or intensity. Here's something that happened, and immediately I can't go back to the old way of living. And it's not that, genuine opinion here, it's not that one is more effective than the other. Both of them can eventually reach the same desired goal. There's different pathways to get from point A to point B. Sometimes there's just more efficient routes. Easy example of this is just driving somewhere. My home, I live in Orlando. I can see Universal Studios Resort. I can see their water park from my driveway. It's called Volcano Bay. I can see a man-made fake water park water slide that looks like a volcano from my front yard. It's really cool looking. But if I wanted to go to Disney World, the other theme park in the area, it would take me about 15 minutes to get there. And I could go by way of local roads. There's some back roads. There's actually 2 pathways to get there based on 2 different highways. And if I'm going to go that direction, I'm going to open up the Maps app on my phone and see where's the traffic and then choose how I'm going to get there. But for the most part, there's going to be a difference of like 5 or 6 minutes from one of these pathways to the other. But then again, I could open up my garage, get out my bicycle, and potentially ride my bicycle to Disney World. I'm sure there's a safe place I can find to park it. And then that would maybe take 2 hours, 3 hours, perhaps. Or I could leave the bicycle at home and I could walk there. That might take 5 or 6 hours, but it's Orlando, it's going to be hot. And I shave my head, I don't want to get my scalp sunburned. So again, all of these things in this metaphorical travel to Disney World example, they all reach the same destination. There's just different ways to get there. And that's important to remember because just a little nuance of what I do, I make it a point that I'm not talking down to something or putting down a thing that might have actually been beneficial to them. It's the importance of that question, any reason you ask. Because now I've got the roadmap where if they say, I've done this before and I didn't like that, well, now I don't have to explain all of my brilliant reasons why I don't record it. I don't have to give them the lecture that I'm basically giving you right now. If I hear that they believe it's important to them, here's what I actually say. Well, I'll put it this way. There's different models of change, and I'm happy to do the process whatever way you think is best for you. Though, do you mind if I share my professional opinion on it? Sure. Well, first of all, I've recorded a podcast for well over a decade. I've got a ton of stuff that I've produced online. I've produced a bunch of audios. And long story short, I have all the technology that might be necessary to do that, to record it. However, here are these two different models of change. Just keep doing it till it sticks, or something happened and I can't go back to the old way. And that second one, by the way, is not always a bad thing. Sometimes, hey, I thought about this in a new way, and that's when this amazing change just officially took place. So I'm happy to record it. However, it's what I said at the beginning of this section here. The live session that we do is actually designed to help you to release the problem. And if there are any resources that I share with you after we worked with each other, and again, I've got all the tech, I could record it, no problem. However, that recording, it's not that it would unravel the change. It's just that, well, it'd be reminding you of the problem that you no longer have. So instead, if I'm going to share a resource with you, instead, it's going to be something that helps you to strengthen the change, gives you abilities to further the story of where this is going. So it's no longer, I'm quitting smoking. Now it's instead, here's the things I can do for my life and my health moving forward. So that's why, as a personal thing, I don't tend to record the session. Instead, though, there might be some resources that I either share with you or create with you that are about strengthening the change moving forward. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Okay, well, again, you tell me. I can get the microphone and the recording gadget out if you want me to. And at that point, they usually then go, no, let's do it your way. Again, strongly held opinion, and your specific style may be different. And again, if you're doing recordings and you're getting results and everybody's happy with it, and it's not results that you're convincing yourself you're getting, it's instead results you're actually getting, by all means, keep it up. I'm okay with you. But this is the reason why I don't do it. So again, it's an easy example of this. Years ago, I worked with a guy who, and some of you are going to hear this and go, he was ready to pay you, take the money. I think Jerry Kine once called this shoot yourself in the foot business model. And I love that as a concept. I'm working with this guy to quit smoking. And he goes, hey, this is amazing. I'm doing great. How can I schedule a 6-month follow-up? Now, I had it in my notes, important for the story. I had it in my notes that he had never stopped for a span of time any longer than 6 months. So that was kind of his cutoff point. So it kind of was logical. He's going, can I come in 6 months and strengthen this? My genuine response was, why? Well, I mean, you could if you want. You have the ability to schedule on your own now that you're one of my existing clients. You've got the private link. However, do you mind if I ask you a question? Yeah, at that point, you're not going to be smoking. So why do you need to come here and pay me again to be reminded of a thing that you're no longer doing? Let me ask you a better question instead. Now that, finish the sentence. Now that this is behind me, it's going to be even easier for me to finish that sentence. And at this point, he goes, oh, well, I want to create this change. I want to do this. I want to feel this way. And I go, yeah, so if we do any work, that's going to be the better focus. Rather than, telling a baby who has learned how to crawl, then how to stand up, then learns how to walk, rather than teaching the baby at 7 years old, hey, now that you're 7 years old, you don't have to crawl anymore. I mean, you could if you needed to, but you don't have to because now you know how to walk. Like, why do we need to remind you of that? Which I don't mean to tell this story as a mechanism of business strategy, but actually he then goes, oh, well, can we work on that like next week? And so we ended up working on other stuff. Look at that there. So again, this is how I really interact with my clients because again, let's continue the story. The session was used and about releasing. Anything now is moving forward. Now, I've given you the roadmap of why I don't do the thing. It would be irresponsible of me to be the type of person, there's enough of these on the web, who go, don't do that, that's bad, and then offer zero value to replace it. I'm not going to be the anarchist. I'm going to give you 2 specific strategies. You can use one of them right away. The other one, well, we'll talk about it. The first one is, I call it, we're going to do 2 sessions in one. And let me just now pretend that I'm speaking to you, you're my client, and I'm about to set the stage for the thing I'm about to do. So here it is in real time. Hey, in the process today, we're going to do hypnosis and address this thing we talked about, this thing we talked about, and this goal of yours and that goal of yours. And actually, today's going to be kind of unique because today we're going to do 2 sessions in one. Because first of all, we're going to go into hypnosis and do the entire process to affect this change, and then come out of hypnosis, debrief, talk a bit, and then send you on your way. However, before we do that, we're going to do the entire session again a second time. We're going to do the entire session all over again. However, the second version of it, what's it called? I'm going to do like the Cliff's Notes version of it, the condensed version of it. We won't do the entire 45 or so minute session. Instead, I'm going to do the entire session again in like 8 to 10 minutes, usually on the shorter end of that. Because the benefit now is it's not going to be the game of, oh, I need a dark room and a CD player for 45 minutes so I can strengthen this. No, instead, it's going to be a thing that is brief and to the point, and it's really going to be there not quite as a reinforcement mechanism, but more as a booster. Now, let me set the stage for you in terms of a couple of points here. First of all, I don't do this with everybody. And rough numbers, whatever the math would be, 4 or 5%, like one out of every 20 or even 25 people is when I might do this. This is not a constant thing. No one repeat the thing that Jason Linett says, do this with all your clients. No, a small fraction of people. And my filter, I mean, I could, but my filter for this is if it's something involving performance or let's say event-based anxieties or concerns. So I did this like 2 weeks ago with someone who was getting ready to do a TED Talk. And he goes, anything I can do like right before I go on stage. And the second strategy that I haven't yet told you about is the predominant thing that I did, but I also did this 2 session and 1 thing with him. So sports, speaking, something performance related, that's when I do it. Don't overcomplicate this, by the way. When I would do this in person, again, I've got all the tech gadgets where I'm actually recording this right now. I have 6 microphones within my reach of where I'm standing right now as I'm recording this. And in person, though, I would say this. Hey, do you have a smartphone? Everybody does now. Cool. Did you know that there's a voice recording app already on your phone? It came with it. Oh, cool. You already do? Or here's what you look for. Open it up. Awesome. Go ahead and put that on your lap. That way it's in a good position that it can hear my voice. Because in a moment, I'm going to ask you to hit the red button, and then I'll do the 8-minute session. Then when we come out of it, you'll just then immediately turn it off. Why do I do that, by the way? No post-production. And this isn't just out of laziness or efficiency. It's the fact that, well, you've done this too, not even as a hypnotist. You've promised somebody you would do something, and then you just forgot. Well, now I'm doing the 2 session and 1 strategy because instant gratification, they're going to leave with it. Even better, it's already on their device. And a little nuance of that, by the way, I have them put their cell phone, the object that has all of their personal data, I have them put it on their lap. Why? Because you know for a fact, I'm not looking at your private stuff on your phone because it's on your lap. You've got a person in the room with their eyes closed and their cell phone unlocked, potentially. It's on their lap. They know I'm not looking at their photos and trying to look at their search history. So there's the in-person version of it from the guy who loves all the technology. The online version of it, this is stupid easy. If you're on Zoom, you hit record. And the default on Zoom is that it records both the video as well as the audio. I start the recording at the moment that I want it to be for them. I stop the recording when it's done. And it produces, like I said, 2 files, the video and the audio. Don't bother with the video. I use the audio. The file format, if you're curious, is what's called an M4A. Basically, it's the same as an MP3. It'll play on nearly every device that's out there. So Zoom or in person, I use their phone. I keep it simple. That's my 2 session and 1 strategy. Though once again, it's one that I might do less than 10% of the time. probably isn't much harm. And it's much more, I'd say it's much more approachable and would have a definitely higher level of compliance than recording the entire session. So at least some of you switch to that, please. There's version 1, here's version 2. This is probably my longest and most detailed Make It Rain. The Make It Rain Monday episodes are about here's something you can do right away, and they're usually rapid fire. I knew there were 2 things I wanted to share here, and also the philosophy as to why some of you need to rethink the online recording thing is where we had to go a little bit more in depth. So I'm sorry, I'm providing more value. The second strategy, it's about the hybrid journey. Now, here's what I say to my clients to set the stage for this. While we're working together, this isn't just about the sessions that we're doing together in real time together. Instead, it's what I call a hybrid journey of change, where one part of it is the work that we're doing together in real time, though the other part is I'm going to be sharing with you some helpful resources, whether they're ones that I already have that I can share with you, or ones that I create along the journey, whatever seems to be the most appropriate for your situation. However, it's the fact that these are things that, for the most part, you can do practically anytime, anywhere, without anyone even realizing you're doing something. So this isn't going to be the old school game of, I need a dark room and a CD player for 45 minutes. Instead, some of the techniques I'm going to share with you are going to be things that you could be doing in the moment that used to trigger the problem. And before anyone else would even realize that there might have been an issue, and in a way that they won't even notice that you're stopping and doing some sort of thought process technique, you'll be past the issue faster than you've ever thought before. So let me speak our language here real quick. What have I done? I have created a library of a variety of self-help, self-directed NLP, and yes, also there's some audios in there, of resources that I may give to my clients. And yes, there are times where I've sold this library as its own product. You can roadmap people's journey through it. Those of you that are inside of Hypnotic Workers, here's an example of this. Hypnotic Workers, hypnoticworkers.com, is my entire hypnosis training online. And it's self-directed. You can do it at your own pace. It's just access to the video content. The opening video is where I go, there's 2 pathways. If you're brand new and just getting started, go in order. It's published in a sequential sequence on purpose. Or if you're somebody who is already trained and wanting to make use of my strategies or fill in the gaps of your own training, feel free to bounce around. Now, if you ever get stuck, remember, it's published in a specific order. So this could be a thing you sold as its own standalone piece. But here's the strength that it now gives me. The stuff that I would typically teach my clients, I haven't taught it in real time in years. Hey, between now and the next time that we meet, there's a specific technique that I'm going to have you watch a video of, that as you're watching the video, it's going to guide you through it. And even better, it's also teaching you how to do the technique on your own. Here's all I'm going to tell you. My instructions are intentionally vague to see what happens. Watch this video and then find an opportunity to use this technique at least once a day between now and when we meet the next time. And then just from there, let me know what changes you notice. Sound good? And again, I'm giving you instruction in a very nondescript way because I want to see what happens for you, what changes you notice. So what are the techniques? Some of you are now ravenous to find out. There's a collapsing anchors process that I'm a huge fan of. The detox emotional triggers, popularized by Michael Elner and Alan Barsky. Classic handling of circle of excellence. A quick EFT pattern, which is so quick and so direct that the EFT purist out there, you might go, hey, that's not even EFT anymore. Well, it was inspired by EFT, and it gets results for me. Giving credit where it's due, here's peripheral vision, which I got from Melissa Tiers. I think she got from John Overdurf, which he might have got from someone else. A specific way that a small, tiny element out of timeline therapy, but like a part that usually people do for the sake of establishing the procedure of it, but I use it to actually create a rapid shift in terms of habits and focus. Specific linguistic patterns. And yeah, there's audios that I've put in here at times too, but these are audios that take on a different context than perhaps what you're used to. I call it the self-destruct method. No, I don't refer to it that way to my clients. To you all, here is this audio will self-destruct principle. It's really 3 linguistic patterns of the more you do this, the more this thing happens. So listen carefully to this, and I'll do it twice so you can hear it. The more you listen to this audio, the more you're going to realize it's been teaching you a strategy. And the more you use the strategy, the less you're going to need this audio reinforcement. And the more that you find benefit from the strategy, the more you're going to realize that now you're just living in the change that you wanted to create, and you no longer have any sort of dependency about making use of this audio. There it is. The more you make use of it, it's going to work better for you. The more you listen, the more you're going to realize it's been teaching you a technique. The more you use the technique, the more you're going to have the result, and you're not going to need the technique anymore. So if I ever do an audio, that is always a formula of mine. So I wanted to share this here because, well, first of all, when I do mine, and I'm rebuilding at the moment, with mine though, it delivers inside of like an online course. And let's say I've told you during the session, I'm going to have you watch a thing on this detox emotional triggers thing. But what I'll also do, very simply, is tell you, hey, let me go ahead, and I do it in real time. Let me send you an email right now so that you have a link directly to the thing I want you to make use of. There's a lot of helpful stuff in there. And for right now, horse with the blinders, just watch the one thing that I've linked you to. Later, and you're going to keep this. So later on down the road, if you want to explore the other things, be my guest. So I want to talk about this hybrid strategy because now, well, that's part of how I do it, which is rather than record the audio, post-production, I'll say it here, give people a variable where they could tell themselves the story. It won't work for me because, oh, one other quick strategy here. This is persuasive. Use this all the time. Use this with your kids, by the way, too. Ask a question for time compliance first, then tell them what to do. Hey, if I shared with you something that would be really effective for getting rid of that craving, even if there's a hint of it, and it only took like less than 2 minutes, would you do it? Yeah. You've just established a contract. And now there's no way they can say, oh, I didn't have time for that. I used to do this with client testimonials too. Hey, do you have like 5 minutes before you head out? Oh yeah, why? Because it'd be helpful if you could fill out one of these surveys. Hey, do you all have less than 4 minutes to answer 4 simple questions? I'm just going to imagine you all said yes. Then go to worksmarthypnosis.com/458, because here's the thing, and legitimately, I'm in the brainstorming phase to figure out the details of not just if we'll do this, but also how we'll do this. This is something that I've created over time and then took down, repackaged, rebuilt, took it down. I've got to rebuild mine because I sold Virginia Hypnosis. And the stuff I had before was many years ago when I was heavier and I had hair. So I'm rebuilding mine in real time too. But I'm playing with the idea of turning this into something that's a client resource that you would be able to basically buy into the license rights to then recreate mine as your own. And even better, of course, customize it, make it your own. And it'd be easy just to say, hey, everybody, go off and do this. But we've kind of seen over the years that the technical barriers and as well as the messaging barriers are where either people, one, never launch a thing that they intended to build, or two, put in the time and energy and effort to build it, but then no one buys it or no one engages with it. And I want to avoid that with as many of you as possible. So that's kind of where we're workshopping this idea, where we'd be doing it in sort of a done with you, one-to-one, build out with you. You'd have guidance to recreate the content with your voice, your image, with you. There's enough of me on the web. Let's help to build your following. And we would also then help you to build the delivery system and then help integrate it into your business. That way, most of the technical barriers are then behind you. This is a really big maybe in my head right now, and that's why I'm going to get your feedback. So on the page with the show notes, the thing I've kept mentioning here, worksmarthypnosis.com/458. Go there. When you're on the page, scroll down, you'll see the podcast player, but then you'll see we haven't built it yet, you'll either see a button that says, take the hybrid survey, or I might even just put the survey directly on the page, and you can just do it there. WorksmartHypnosis.com/458. Go there, take less than 5 minutes, answer my 4 questions, because this will tell us if this is something that you want help to do and you want to take out to your potential clients. Which, by the way, too, this is also part of the formula to break away from the dollars for hours model. Because now, as you've heard me say, it's not about just the hours we spend together in real time. It's not just about the session. It's also about this. And as much as some of you have branded me as the business guy, the money guy, as I'm working with my clients, it is the least capitalistic environment. It's where, hey, if I've got resources that I know can help you as we're working together to affect this change, I'm just going to give them to you. And building this in my world made it so it streamlined a lot of what I do. So to bring it all together, the longest Make It Rain Monday I've likely done here. Why don't I record my sessions? Reason number 1, it's a used session. It's in the past already. It's already out of date. It's already, faded away. Reason number 2, it's about the problem. We don't need to remind them of the problem that they no longer have. Reason number 3, the difference between repetition and intensity. So now, what have I done? I have framed the value of the real-time interaction, as well as framed differently the potential strengthening and reinforcement mechanisms and why the two serve together. Because again, remember, the process is not about reinforcing a problem. The process that we got our clients through, it's about creating that new solution. Thank you for listening to the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast with Jason Linett. The more we're all successful, the more we're all successful. I've made that statement for years. It's why I do this show. And here is one thing that you can do today to help do your part. Go to worksmarthypnosis.com/podcast. Go there and make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast platform. And if you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd leave a review. Your feedback helps other hypnosis professionals find the show. Subscribe and share your thoughts today at worksmarthypnosis.com/podcast.